The rain hammered the fire escape like gunfire, and I leaped without looking, my boots slipping on the slick metal as the alley below swallowed me whole. Sirens wailed in the distance, cops or worse, the kind who didn't wear badges, but I didn't stop. Lungs burning, heart slamming against my ribs like it wanted out. "You're mine now, sweetheart." Her voice echoed from the rooftop above, low and velvet smooth, laced with a promise that chilled me deeper than the November downpour. I hit the dumpster with a thud that knocked the wind from me, garbage bags bursting open like confetti from hell. Scraping myself up, I tasted blood, mine, probably from biting my tongue, and darted into the shadows of a backstreet in Hell's Kitchen, the kind of place where dreams went to die under sodium lamps. New York never slept, but tonight, it felt like the city itself was holding its breath, waiting for the hunter to claim her prey. And I was the prey. All right, Lila Monroe, 28 years old, graffiti artist by day, ghost by night, with a backpack full of encrypted drives that some very bad people wanted back. Or rather, wanted me dead for stealing them. It started 3 weeks ago in a dive bar off Times Square, the kind with sticky floors and jukebox blues that masked the deals going down in the booths. I'd been casing the joint for Jax, my ex-partner in crime who thought loyalty was a one-way street. He was in deep with the Valentinos, that shadowy syndicate running half the underground data trade from Brooklyn to the Bronx. I was just the lookout, the charm offensive, flirt with the bartender, distract the mark, slip the thumb drive while they weren't looking. But Jax double-crossed me, left me holding the bag when the heat came down. Now those drives, they held enough dirt on crooked cops, bent politicians, and ghost accounts to topple empires. And the Valentinos had put a bounty on my head, $250K. Dead or alive? Preferably dead. I ducked into a bodega, the fluorescent lights buzzing like angry hornets, and grabbed a burner phone from the rack. The old man behind the counter didn't even look up. New Yorkers knew better than to play hero. Dialing a contact I shouldn't trust but had no choice with, I whispered, "Manny, it's Lila. I need a ride. Now." Hell's Kitchen, corner of 9th and 46th. Static crackled. Then his gravelly voice. "You in deep shit, girl. They sayin' you're marked. No kidding." I hung up, scanning the street through the grimy window. That's when I saw her. She emerged from the mist like a specter, tall and lean, hooded trench coat billowing in the wind. No face, just that sleek black mask covering everything but her eyes, emerald green, sharp as shattered glass. The hunter. Word on the wire was she was the best. Ex-Special Forces. Maybe CIA Black Ops gone rogue. Now freelancing for whoever paid in crypto. She moved like liquid shadow, gloved hand brushing her hip where a holster hid. My pulse spiked. Charm. That's what got me this far. A smile. Quip. A brush of fingers that said I see you without the words. But against her, I was a kitten in a wolf's den. I bolted out the back, into the labyrinth of fire escapes and chain-link fences that webbed the neighborhood. Footsteps, soft, deliberate, trailed me. She was toying with me, letting me think I had a lead. I scaled a chain link, tearing my jeans on the barbs, and dropped into a courtyard strung with laundry lines like nooses. Panting, I pressed against a brick wall, the cold seeping through my jacket. "Come on, Lila," I muttered to myself. "Think. Flirt your way out." Like always, a shadow detached from the alley mouth. She was there, 15 feet away. Head tilted like she was appraising a painting. Rain sluiced off her mask. And those eyes. They pinned me. Unblinking. Running gets you nowhere. Doll, she said. Voice modulated through some tech. But still feminine. With a faint southern drawl slipping through like bourbon over ice. Hand over the drives. Make it easy. I forced a laugh. Stepping into the dim light of a dangling bulb.
Charme offensive.
Activate. I flipped my wet curls back, letting my jacket fall open just enough to show the curve of my collarbone, the tattoo of a phoenix rising from my ribs. Easy, baby. Nothing about me is easy. But you. You're a sight. That mask hiding from the rain. Or from me. I sauntered closer. Hips swaying like I owned the night. Heart jackhammering. Her posture didn't shift. But those eyes flickered interest? Amusement? She holstered her piece with a fluid motion. But her hand stayed near. Cute. But I've dropped girls prettier than you for less. Close. She smelled like leather and gun oil. With a hint of jasmine unexpected. Human. I closed the gap to 5 feet. Close enough to see the faint scar peeking from under her mask's edge. Then drop me, I challenged. Voice husky. Leaning in like we were sharing secrets at a rooftop party. But first. Buy a girl a drink? Name's Lila. What's yours? Mystery. A beat. 2. Then. A low chuckle that vibrated through the modulator. Riley. And you're playing with fire. Lila. She didn't back away. Progress. That was the hook. From there. It unraveled like a bad knit sweater, nights of cat and mouse through the city's veins. Me dodging her traps while reeling her in with whispers and stolen touches. Manny's ride never showed. Turns out he'd sold me out for a cut of the bounty. I holed up in a squat in the village. A derelict artist loft with peeling murals and a mattress that smelled like regret. Riley found me by dawn. Kicking in the door like she owned the place. But instead of bullets, she zip-tied me to a pipe and paste. Mask still on. Interrogating me about the drives. Why steal 'em? She demanded. Crouching to my level. Green eyes boring into mine. I tugged at the ties. Wincing. Jax. He screwed me over. Said it'd be in and out. But the Valentinos. They don't play. I met her gaze. Letting vulnerability crack my armor just a sliver. You ever been burned like that? Riley. Trusted the wrong face. She stiffened. Gloved fingers flexing. Doesn't matter. Job's a job. But she lingered. And when she cut me loose hours later, after I'd spun tales of my graffiti tags symbolizing freedom, of growing up in Harlem with a mom who painted dreams on subway cars before cancer took her, I saw it. A chink. She left me alive. With a burner phone number scrawled on a matchbook. For when you stop running. I didn't stop. But I called. God help me. I called. We met in neutral territory. A jazz club in Harlem. Saxophone wailing like a lover scorned. She showed up maskless for the first time. And damn if she wasn't breathtaking, high cheekbones. Full lips curved in a wary smile. Auburn hair tousled like she just rolled out of a fight. 32. She confessed later. With laugh lines that spoke of too many shadows. We talked over bourbon neat. Her drawl unfiltered now, Atlanta roots. She said. Before the military chewed her up and spat her out. I told her about the drives, not just dirt, but proof of the Valentinos trafficking kids through fake charities. laundering blood money in plain sight. It's bigger than me, I said, hand brushing hers across the scarred oak table. Help me expose it. Be the hero instead of the hunter. Her eyes softened, fingers lacing with mine under the table. Your trouble. Lila Monroe. But she kissed me that night. Slow and searing. Like she'd been starving for it. In the cab back to my squat, her hands mapped my skin like territory to claim. And I melted, whispering her name like a prayer. For the first time in years, survival felt like living. But trust is a fragile thing in our world. We became a secret rhythm, stolen afternoons in Central Park, where she'd trace my tattoos with callous fingers, murmuring about the girl she left behind in Georgia, the one who couldn't handle the ghosts. I'd sketch her on napkins, fierce lines, soft edges while she guarded the door. Nights blurred into passion, her body a landscape of scars and strength, mine yielding like clay under her touch. I could walk away, she'd say, breath hot against my neck. For you. Don't, I'd beg, pulling her closer. We end this together. The drives were stashed in a locker uptown, encrypted tighter than Fort Knox. Riley cracked them one rainy evening in a safe house off the Bowery, her laptop glowing like a confessional. Jesus. Lila. This is nuclear. Faces of politicians. Ledgers of horror. We planned. Leaked to a journalist contact of mine. A firebrand from the Village Voice. But Jax caught wind, always did. That snake. He cornered me outside a coffee shop on Bleecker, reeking of cheap cologne and desperation. You think you can burn us? Hand him over. Or Riley gets it. My blood iced. You touch her. He grinned, yellow teeth flashing. She's one of us. Sweetheart. Always was. The hunter? Valentino loyal. She's playing you for the long con. Lies. Had to be. But doubt wormed in. Poison vine. That night, when Riley slipped in late, smelling faintly of smoke and strangers, I confronted her. Jack says you're dirty. That this, I gestured between us, voice cracking, is bait. Her face crumpled, mask of composure shattering. Lila. No. I took the job to get close. Yeah. But you. You changed the game. She reached for me. But I flinched. I cut ties weeks ago. Called off the hit. Prove it. Tears stung. Hot and furious. She did, logging into her dark web account, showing the contract voided. Her burner comms with the Valentinos burned. But there, in the chat logs, a message from Jax. Finish it soon. She's slipping. Timestamped yesterday. My world tilted. You knew he was coming for me. And you didn't warn. I was protecting you, she shouted. Voice breaking. If I tipped you, they'd know I flipped. Betrayal tasted like ash. I grabbed the drives, bolted into the night, hailing a cab to the journalist's office in Midtown. Rain lashed the windows, mirroring the storm inside. How could I love someone who'd hunted me? Yet every mile. Her touch ghosted my skin. Her laugh echoed in my ears. Damn her. The office was a tomb dark. Me. Saturday night blues. I plugged in the drives. Fingers flying. Uploading everything. Sirens again. Closer. Footsteps in the hall. Heart in throat. I hit send just as the door splintered. Jax burst in, Two goons flanking. Riley shoved ahead of them. Wrists bound. Lips split. "Brought your girlfriend," he sneered. "Thought it'd sweeten the pot." Riley's eyes met mine, green fire. Pleading. "Lila. Run." But I didn't. "Charm one last time." "Jax. You slimy bastard. You think this ends you? The files are out. Feds'll be here by dawn." He laughed, raising his piece. "Then we all go down swinging." The shot rang out, but not at me. Riley lunged, twisting free in the chaos, tackling him. A scuffle. Grunts. The crack of bone. One goon down. Then the other. Jax fired wild. Bullet grazing my arm. Hot bloom of pain. I screamed, grabbing a desk lamp, smashing it over his skull. He crumpled. Riley staggered up, bloodied but unbroken, cutting her bonds with a shard of glass. "It's over," she gasped, pulling me into her arms. Sirens wailed, blue lights flashing through the blinds. "We leak it all. Start over. Together." I searched her face, scars and all. The woman behind the mask. "You hunted me," I whispered. But my hands clutched her shirt, unwilling to let go. "And you charmed me," she murmured, kissing my temple. "Stole my heart clean." Cops swarmed, questions flying. But the files hit the wires like a bomb. Headlines by morning: Valentino empire crumbles, trafficking ring exposed. Jax and his crew? Cuffed and carted. Me and Riley? We slipped the net, vanishing into the city's underbelly. A new squat in Queens with a view of the skyline. It's been 6 months. I paint murals now, legal ones, in community centers. Phoenixes rising from concrete. Riley's unmasked full-time. Her drawl thicker in the quiet mornings. Hands steady as she brews coffee. We fight about trust, about shadows, but we make up fiercer. Bodies entwining like vows renewed. Survival taught me charm's a weapon. But love? That's the real hunt. And I lost my heart gladly. In the end, the hunter became home. And damn if that isn't the American dream, forged in rain and redemption. One stolen kiss at a time. The first crack in our fragile peace came on a sweltering July afternoon. The kind where the asphalt shimmered like black glass and the ice cream trucks played mocking lullabies. We'd settled into a rhythm in that Queens walk-up, 3rd floor. Creaky stairs. Windows overlooking a bodega where the owner, Mrs. Ruiz, slipped us empanadas and winks like she knew our secrets. I was knee-deep in a canvas, splattering acrylics of fractured cityscapes, symbols of the chaos we'd escaped. Riley was at the kitchen table, her laptop a forbidden fruit, fingers hovering over keys as she monitored the fallout from the leak. "Feds raided 3 safe houses last night," she'd say, voice a mix of pride and wariness. "Your phoenix is flying, babe." But pride fades when paranoia creeps in. It started with the shadows, 2 long glances from strangers on the subway. A burner phone buzzing in Riley's pocket that she'd silence without a word. Old contacts, she'd dismiss, pulling me into a kiss that tasted like distraction. I wanted to believe her. I did. Our nights were fire. Her tracing the new scar on my arm with lips soft as forgiveness. Me arching under her like a bowstring drawn taut. "You're my anchor," she'd whisper. Green eyes vulnerable in the lamplight. And I'd melt, forgetting the hunter's edge that never fully dulled. Then the dreams hit. Nightmares of masks and muzzles. Jax's yellow grin leering from alley mouths. I'd wake gasping. Riley's arms a steel band around me. Just ghosts, she'd soothe. But her own sleep was fractured, muttered names. Jolts awake with hands reaching for phantoms. One dawn, after a particularly brutal tangle of sheets and sweat, I found her on the fire escape, mask from her hunting days clutched in her lap like a talisman. Why keep it? Asked, sliding beside her, the city humming below like a beast stirring. She traced the sleek black fabric. Voice distant. Reminds me who I was. Before you. Pause. Heavy as humidity. Before I almost lost everything. I leaned into her, inhaling jasmine and resolve. You didn't lose. We won. But winning in New York meant vigilance. And vigilance bred doubt. The betrayal seed Jax planted? It sprouted in whispers. A week later, rifling for clean socks, I found it. A crumpled envelope in her jacket pocket. Postmarked Atlanta. Inside, a photo Riley. Younger. Arms around a woman with sun-kissed skin and a laugh that radiated even in pixels. Scrawled on the back. Miss you. R. Come home. E. Elena, the Georgia girl she'd mentioned in fragments. The one who couldn't handle the ghosts. My stomach nodded. Was this why the shadows lingered? A tether to a life unburned? I confronted her that evening over takeout lo mein. Chopsticks clattering like accusations. Who's Elena? The words hung. Sharp as shattered glass. Riley froze. Fork midway to her mouth. How? Your jacket. The photo. I shoved it across the table. Heart a war drum. You said she was gone. But this? It's fresh ink. She set her fork down. Slow. Deliberate. Those green eyes. Once my safe harbor. Now stormy. It's nothing. Lila. Old flame. She wrote after the news hit, saw my name in the leaks. Thought I was dead. A lie? Truth? Her voice held steady. But her fingers drummed the table. A tell I'd learned in our hunting days. Bullshit. I stood. Chair scraping. You've been distant. The calls. The mask. If you're pulling away. I'm not. She rose too. Closing the distance. Hands cupping my face. Elena was yesterday. You? You're my tomorrow. Her kiss was desperate. Tongues clashing like swords. Bodies colliding against the fridge. We tumbled to the floor. Clothes shedding like old skins. Her mouth mapping apologies on my thighs. My nails raking fire trails down her back. It was raw. Reclaiming, her gasps my name like absolution. But as we lay tangled after, sweat slick and spent, doubt lingered like cigarette smoke. The real storm broke in August. Heat wave breaking into thunder that shook our thin walls. I'd scored a gig legit. A mural for a youth center in the Bronx. Painting stories of resilience for kids like I'd been. Dodging bullets in broken homes. Riley came to watch. Perched on a milk crate. Her presence a talisman against the catcalls from passing crews. Looking good. Monroe, she called. That drawl wrapping around me like silk. A grin. Roller in hand. Dripping cerulean skies over brick. That's when the van rolled up, blacked out windows. No plates. Door slid open. And out spilled 3 Valentino's remnants. Faces twisted with grudge. Traitor bitch, one snarled. The leader tattooed neck. Eyes like pits leveling a piece at Riley. She'd flipped fully after our midtown melee. testifying in shadows to bury the syndicate deeper. But grudges don't die easy. Time slowed. I dropped the roller, paint splattering like blood, lunging for a loose brick. Riley moved first, instinct, hunter's grace, tackling the shooter, the crack of the gun echoing as it skittered away. Chaos erupted, fists, curses in Spanish, the acrid bite of gunpowder. I swung the brick, connecting with a jaw, bone crunching. Get back! I screamed at the kids scattering from the center steps. Riley fought like a demon, disarming one with a knee to the gut. But the leader pinned her, knife flashing toward her ribs. No. Not her. Rage boiled, and I charged. Brick raised, but she twisted, green eyes locking on mine in that split second. Lila. No. The blade sank shallow, grazing. She roared, flipping him, knee driving into his throat. Sirens wailed, someone's 911, and the goons bolted, van peeling out in a screech of tires. We collapsed against the mural, my hands pressing her side, blood warm and sticky. Stay with me, I begged, voice fracturing. You idiot. Why didn't you run? Can't run from you, she gasped. Half laugh, half grimace, hand over mine. Ambulance lights painted us blue, paramedics swarming. In the ER, under harsh fluorescence, she squeezed my fingers. Call Elena? No. Tell Manny wait. He's scum. Just stay. I did. Through stitches and antibiotics. Her confession spilled. Elena wasn't a ghost. She'd reached out post-leak, offering a clean slate in Georgia. I almost went, Riley admitted, pale against the sheets. Before the van. Thought you'd be safer without my baggage. Safer? Or freer? Tears burned. You think I want safe? I want us, scars and all. She pulled me down, foreheads touching. Then we're in it. Full mask off. Recovery was a slow burn, physical therapy in humid parks. Her cursing through laps while I sketched her determination. The attack? Tied to a Valentino splinter cell. But Riley's testimony sealed the last nails. We testified together, side by side in a federal courtroom downtown, voices steady as we dismantled the remnants. Jack's life sentence. No parole. Justice. American style. Messy, but served hot. Fall crept in, leaves carpeting the sidewalks like confetti from a reluctant parade. We walked the High Line one crisp evening, her arm around my waist, city lights twinkling like hesitant stars. Ever think about leaving? She asked, breath fogging the air. New York? Nah. This is home. I leaned into her, the phoenix tattoo peeking from my shirt. But if we did? Georgia sounds nice. For visits. She stopped, turning me to face her, green eyes clear as ever. Marry me. Lila, not legal yet everywhere. But ring. Oh, the works. Make it real. My heart stuttered, charm meeting commitment. Thought you'd never ask. Hunter. We laugh, kissing under the rustling vines. The city our witness. Betrayal's sting faded to a scar. A reminder that love isn't survival. It's the choice to stay, unmasked and unafraid. Winter bit hard that year, snow blanketing the burrows in a hush that muffled the grind. Our queen's nest felt cozier for it, string lights draped like constellations, a space heater humming defiance against the chill. Planning the wedding. Our word for the commitment ceremony we'd host in a Harlem community garden come spring, became our anchor. Invites to the few we trusted, Mrs. Ruiz for tamales, my old graffiti crew for murals, even a cautious nod to Elena, who Riley video called one snowy night. She's happy for us, Riley reported, curling into me on the couch, her head on my lap. Said to treat you right or she'd hunt me down, chuckled, fingers combing her auburn waves. Smart woman, but these, like snow, melted under scrutiny. Whispers from Riley's old network slithered in, Valentino holdouts regrouping in Jersey. Whispers of a mole in the feds. Paranoia. Or prophecy. She started sleeping with that damn mask nearby again. A black sentinel on the nightstand. Just in case, she'd mutter. But her touches grew urgent. Lovemaking laced with desperation. As if each night might be borrowed. Pushed back. Hard. One blizzard-lashed evening. After she'd vanished for a check-in that stretched to midnight, I waited with arms crossed. The loft's draft whistling accusations. This ends now, I said when she slipped in. Snow-dusted and evasive. No more ghosts. We're building. Riley not bracing. She shed her coat, revealing the holster at her hip. Can't turn it off. Lila. It's who I am. No. It's who you were. I stepped close, stripping the gun from her grasp, setting it aside like a curse. The hunter chased me. The woman loved me. Choose. Tears welled in those emerald depths rare. Raw. I choose you. Every damn time. She sank to her knees then. Not in defeat, but devotion. Hands sliding up my thighs. Mouth following with a reverence that unraveled me. We moved to the bed. Slow and sacred. Her body a map I'd memorized. Every scar a story we'd rewritten. Afterward. Tangled in quilts. She whispered plans. A cabin upstate. Weekends away from the city's claws. Just us. No masks. Spring bloom defiant. Cherry blossoms defiant against concrete. The garden ceremony was small. Fierce. Us in white linen. Vows exchanged under a trellis of wild roses. I hunted shadows, Riley said. Voice steady. Ring slipping onto my finger. A simple band etched with a phoenix. You brought the light. Echoed back. Tears salting my words. I charmed to survive. You taught me to thrive. Cheers erupted, Mrs. Ruiz whooping. Elena beaming via video from Atlanta. We danced under string lights to Nina Simone. Bodies swaying like we'd never stop. But fate, that cruel curator, had one last twist. Came in June. Heat rising like regret. I'd landed a solo show, unmasked. Graffiti meets activism. In a Soho gallery. Opening night buzzed. Critics sipping Chardonnay. Flashbulbs popping. Riley stood sentinel by the door. Unmasked and proud. Her hand in mine as I unveiled the centerpiece. A massive canvas of her eyes. Green fire-piercing veils of black. To the woman who saw me, the plaque read. Applause thundered. But her grip tightened. Eyes scanning the crowd. That's when he appeared, Victor Kane. Valentino underboss who'd slithered free on a technicality. But barrel-chested. With a smile like a switchblade. He sidled up during the toast. Flute in hand. Beautiful work. Monroe. And the muse. Exquisite. His gaze lingered on Riley. Oily. Traitors do make the best stories. She stiffened. But I played charm queen, smile sharp. Voice honeyed. Stories end. Mr. Kane. Yours did months ago. He chuckled. Low. Ends? Darling. They evolve. He melted into the throng. But the chill stayed. We shrugged it off or tried. Home by cab. Riley's phone lit up. Anonymous text. Loose ends untie. Watch your back. Her face drained. It's him. Kane's rallying the fringes. Then we fight, I said. But fear not. That night, lovemaking was armor fierce, unyielding. Her cries muffled against my shoulder. Dawn brought the call, Elena. Voice trembling. Riley, Kane's men hit my place. Said it's payback for flipping. Guilt crashed over us like a wave. Riley paced, mask in hand again. I have to end this. Go dart. Draw him out. No. I grabbed her arm. Together. Always. The trap set itself. A meet in an abandoned warehouse by the Gowanus Canal. Brooklyn's watery grave. Intel from a Fed contact, Kane's power play. Smuggling one last shipment. We geared up, me with a concealed piece, her training. Reluctant. Her with the old kit. Mask optional but holster mandatory. Stay behind me, she ordered. But I linked our fingers. Partners. Hunter. Dusk bled into night. The canal lapping like whispers. We slipped in through a rusted side door. Shadows are allies. Crates stamped with lies, charity fronts loomed like tombstones. Voices echoed. Kane's gravel. His crew's murmurs. Riley signaled. Creeping forward. Me at her 6. Then ambush. Lights flared. Guns cocking like laughter. Kane stepped from the gloom. Flanked by 6 shadows. The happy couple, he drawled. How touching. Riley shoved me behind a crate. Drawing fire. Bullets chipped concrete. Acrid smoke blooming. Run. Lila, she yelled. Returning fire. Precise as poetry, 1 down. Then 2. But I didn't run. Charm. Useless here. Rage fueled me, I popped up. Squeezing off shots. Wild but true. Clipping a thug's shoulder. Chaos rain, grunts. Ricochets. The canal stench rising like bile. Kane lunged for Riley. Knife gleaming. She dodged. But he slashed, fabric tearing. Blood blooming on her arm. No. Charged. Tackling him from blindside. Momentum sending us sprawling. He rolled. Pinning me. Breath hot and foul. You first. Artist. The blade rose. Riley's shot cracked the air. Kane jerked. Eyes widening in shock. Crumpling off me. Silence fell. Broken only by groans and the distant wail of sirens. Someone's alarm tripped. She hauled me up. Mask askew from the fray. Green eyes wild. You okay? Better now. We cuffed the survivors with zip ties from her kit. Waiting for the blues. Feds swarmed. Kane's empire's last gasp gurgling into cuffs. Aftermath was paperwork and press. Heroic duo dismantles final cell. We dodged interviews. Holing up in that upstate cabin Riley promised. Adirondacks whispering peace. Scars healed. Her arm in a sling. My nightmares fading to dreams of gardens and vows. Years blur now. The shows toured. Unmasked in galleries from LA to Chicago. Our story inspiring queer youth centers coast to coast. Riley teaches self-defense. Mask retired to a drawer. Me? I paint worlds unchained. Her in every stroke. We lost much innocence. Illusions but gained a life. Unmasked. Intertwined. In America's vast, bruised heart, we found ours. And that's the real charm. Surviving not alone, but entwined. Hearts bared to the hunt.